Hi everyone, Gilliam Elliott here. Today we're going to talk about how social media marketing works in the medical tourism industry and how to use it to attract international patients. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what needs to be in your social media ads, what gets the most attention from patients and make them stop mid-scroll, and how to present your content in a way that gets inquiries, not just likes and views. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the topic. But before we do that, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel to get more educational videos on medical tourism. Many people assume that social media marketing is simply posting photos or sharing updates online. But in international healthcare travel, social media plays a much bigger role than most people realize. For most patients, the journey towards treatment abroad begins online. Before they ever contact a facilitator, clinic, or hospital, they're researching procedures, learning about the destination, comparing pricing, and trying to understand what the treatment process looks like. During that research process, social media is often where potential patients go to learn more about you and what you offer and see if they can trust you. That means your social media presence is not just a marketing outlet. It often becomes one of the first impressions patients have of your program. And that impression can influence whether they continue researching you or if they move on to another option. To understand how social media helps you get international patients, we first need to understand how the different platforms work within the medical tourism industry. Each platform plays a slightly different role. So let's start with Facebook. Facebook remains one of the most important platforms in medical tourism because it combines research, communication, education, and advertising all in one place. A lot of potential patients use Facebook when they're in the early research stage. They may message a medical provider or facilitator for a procedure quote, compare destinations, or read through reviews of different organizations. That matters because Facebook is not only a content platform, it's also a research platform. Patients evaluate your organization on clear, visible signals like how active your page is, how often you post, and whether your content looks consistent and professional. In other words, they are not just consuming your content, they're evaluating your credibility. This is one of the biggest reasons Facebook matters in medical tourism. A patient may land on your page and instantly start looking for signs that your organization is active, responsive, and trusted. They may look at your reviews, they may click through your photos, they may look at old posts, and they may check whether your page appears abandoned or whether people are getting responses to their posts. That means your Facebook presence needs to function like a living business asset, not just a place where your content gets dumped. Another useful part of the platform is Facebook groups. Many patients join different types of medical tourism groups where they openly discuss their fears, concerns, and experiences getting treatment abroad. These groups can be a goldmine for understanding patient psychology. You can learn what people are confused about, what they are comparing, and what causes hesitation. In medical tourism groups, comments often reveal exactly what potential patients are thinking. You will see questions about cost, you will see questions about safety, you will see concerns about quality of care, travel logistics, aftercare, and so on. When you pay attention to these patterns, you gain insight into barriers that prevent people from moving forward. That's valuable because once you understand the questions that patients ask over and over, you can create content that answers those questions. That builds trust and makes patients more confident to reach out to you. Now, this doesn't mean that you should join these groups and aggressively promote your service, because that approach usually pushes people away. But this does mean these spaces can help you understand what patients think and what type of information they need. Just remember, not every group is created equal. Many of these communities are filled with constant promotional posts, so you need to research and find the ones that provide real value. Now, if you really want to scale fast, you can get a lot more out of Facebook by running paid ads. Since Meta owns both Facebook and Instagram, you can manage the ads for both platforms in one place. This means the strategies we are discussing apply to campaigns on both Facebook and Instagram. One of the biggest mistakes people make is running broad ads that try to speak to everyone at the same time. In medical tourism, that approach rarely performs well. International patient marketing works best when advertisements are tailored specifically to countries or regions. Patients in different parts of the world respond to different messaging, different concerns, and different visual cues. For example, campaigns targeting the United Kingdom and Canada should focus on bypassing long wait lists and getting access to specialists right away. In those countries, getting treated quickly is their number one priority due to the massive backlogs in their healthcare systems. However, if you're targeting patients in the United States, it's a different story. Your campaign should focus on the cost savings and how affordable the treatment is compared to what they pay at home. Because in the US, the high cost is one of the main reasons people look for options abroad. When you tailor the messaging like this, it makes the ad feel personal to the audience rather than just another generic post. Even small details can make a big difference. Mentioning the country or region directly in the advertisement often increases engagement because it signals that the content is meant for that audience. But the wording is only half the battle. The image is what makes people stop and look. When someone scrolls through Facebook or Instagram, the image or video usually captures their attention before the text does. The image takes up the largest amount of screen space, which means it has the greatest chance of making them stop scrolling and pay attention. If the image does not instantly connect with the viewer, the opportunity to capture their attention may disappear within seconds. This is why it's so important for the image to look like the audience you're targeting. For example, if you're promoting rhinoplasty to women in a Gulf country like Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, or Kuwait, the imagery should reflect the women that you're targeting. Using imagery that visually represents the audience, whether it's through cultural appearance or other familiar lifestyle cues, helps the viewer know right away that the ad is for them. But you shouldn't stop there. You should also include a bold headline directly on the image itself. So since I mentioned rhinoplasty a moment ago or nose jobs a moment ago, I want to use that same example. So let's say that you're targeting women in those Gulf countries that I mentioned, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait. So let's say you were targeting them. The image on your ad could show a woman dressed in a way that reflects the local culture, pointing to her nose with a headline that says, "Thinking of nose reshaping?" Then you can list a few key benefits with check marks. It's best to avoid big blocks of text because most people just skim these ads. They'll read a quick list, but they'll skip right over a wordy paragraph. This kind of visual message tells the viewer exactly what the ad is about and who it's for before they even read a single word of the caption. If the image doesn't match your message or if it doesn't align with your ad text, people are going to keep scrolling. In other words, in social media marketing, it's not just about writing good copy. It's about making sure your visuals do the heavy lifting. It's about making sure the imagery and the message speaks to the people you're targeting, so the second they see the ad, it connects with them. Here's a tracking sheet of patient leads we generated in a day through Facebook and Instagram for one of our clients. Each row is a new inquiry. I've blurred out sensitive details, but this gives you an idea of basic information you need to collect. This client has us targeting multiple procedures across different markets to attract patients to their destination. As you can see, each lead provides their full name, email, phone number, where they live, and where they want to go for treatment. This is just a snapshot, but it shows you the type of information you want to capture. One thing to keep in mind is depending on the procedure and the destination you're targeting, you'll need to get more detailed information from the prospects to qualify them. For example, if you want to target IVF patients who want to go to Turkey, you'll need to ask them if they're married on the form. If they aren't legally married, they can't get the procedure there, and the lead is no good to the clinic. Now, we run a multi-channel strategy to generate inquiries, including Google Ads and SEO, but this specific list comes from Facebook and Instagram. A huge part of getting these results is staying visible throughout the entire patient decision process. In this industry, most people don't just buy on the spot. They are considering multiple things, including the medical procedure, travel, costs, and the recovery time. Because of that, the decision process takes time. Patients may research for weeks before contacting a facilitator or clinic. This is where retargeting, especially on Facebook and Instagram, is a game changer. Retargeting lets you continue showing your ad to people who've already went to your website, interacted with your post, or engaged with your content online. This helps keep your company visible while the patient continues researching their options. Remaining visible during the decision-making process increases the likelihood that your organization stays on the patient's shortlist. Now let's look at Instagram. Instagram is a powerful platform for this business because a lot of the procedures that people seek abroad, like dental work and plastic surgery, are highly visual. People want to see things like photos and videos of the destination, the clinic, the staff, and most importantly, the results from the procedure. And Instagram is the go-to platform for this. That's why it plays such a huge role in how your organization is viewed by potential patients. When people think about traveling abroad for treatment, they often have uncertainty in their minds. They may be wondering whether the facility looks modern, whether the doctors look professional, whether the clinic meets international standards, and whether the entire experience will feel well managed. Instagram helps answer many of these questions visually. Strong imagery can quickly communicate professionalism and quality. But there's a difference between using Instagram effectively and simply posting photos. Many organizations treat Instagram like a gallery. They post occasional images and graphics without thinking about how the content supports the patient decision-making process. Instagram content should help viewers understand what the experience of treatment abroad looks like. Brand content should build trust and confidence. Procedure-related content should help explain what the procedure addresses and what recovery might involve. Instagram stories can also be valuable. Stories allow your organization to show small moments that don't need to be on your grid. These may include behind-the-scenes activities, team introductions, on-site preparation, or updates from your organization's daily operations. These small glimpses help humanize the organization and make the program feel more accessible. Short-form video through Instagram Reels has also become an effective educational tool. Organizations can use short-form videos to explain the procedure, answer common patient questions, clarify misconceptions about treatment abroad, or explain how the medical travel process works. Educational video content performs well because it gives viewers something useful rather than simply promoting services. The fact is, social media has become one of the most vital communication channels in the medical tourism industry. When used the right way, it increases visibility, builds trust, and generates qualified international patient leads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.